But at the University of Nebraska, Scott Frost gets fired, and eventually Matt Rule comes to town. And he brings with him his strength and conditioning coach, Coach Joseph. And so you got a new strength and conditioning coach of football, something that is at the University of Nebraska, from my understanding, is completely by its own self, its own entity. So tell us a little bit about what made you, or how did you become connected with Coach Joseph and the football strength coach?
Coach Campbell.
Or Coach Campbell. And
So how I met Coach Campbell was they had all gotten to campus, and it was in the off season. Basketball had just finished, so I was spending a little more time over at the main stadium where football is located at, because all the basketball guys were pretty much gone off campus, so we didn't really have much going on in basketball. So I was going over really to help some other of the strength coaches over at the other facility. So one day as I was walking through the facility, I saw Coach Campbell sitting there with some of the football guys. They were doing a photo shoot or something, and I walked past him, and I thought, is that Coach Campbell? And so I sat there for a minute thinking, should I go back and introduce myself? And initially I wasn't going to, but then I said, why not? Like, let's just go see what happens. I want to meet him. I was excited that he was new on campus and coming to campus. So I went back, I went up to him, I said, hey, are you Coach Campbell? And he said, yeah. And I introduced myself. I told him kind of my role. And I basically told him, I said, I'm young, I'm new to the field. This is my first year in strength conditioning. I'm an intern. I'm eager to learn. I'm looking to learn new perspectives and philosophies. Is there ever a time that I can stop by and maybe talk shop? And he said, stop by any day after 3. And so I remember I waited a day, and then I went in the next day. So 2 days after I went in, and he came out of a meeting, and I asked him if this was a good time, and he said, yeah, let's go. So we went into his office, and we talked shop for a little bit, introduced each other a little bit. He wanted to get to know me a little more and kind of my goals and aspirations of the field of strength conditioning. And then that kind of turned into a weekly thing where he, at the end of each meeting, he would give me an assignment. So he would give me some sort of research to go do, whether it's a topic of strength conditioning, resistance training, or cardiovascular training, whatever it might be, and go research it and then bring back what I found the next week and tell him about it. And then we would just build on those conversations. And then eventually it began to change into more of a, not necessarily a mentorship, but kind of like a guidance, where he was there for me because he started to stick his leg out for me, and he was in my corner. I told him I had aspirations about going to grad school and getting more of a science background and becoming a graduate assistant at a university somewhere. And so once we discussed that, he started to have me reach out to coaches that he knows